arguments like this before.
Saudis, Sunnis, Shiites, Iranian-backed militants killing each other. Every day, Muslims are killing other Muslims.
Why don't you speak about Sudan? Where is the outrage about the children in Yemen? Why don't you talk about the genocide in Congo?
Why is the Gaza, the Palestinian plight at the forefront of the news?
Why are you just speaking about Israel? Yeah, those conflicts are terrible, heartbreaking. But why, oh why don't we speak about them as much as we speak about Israel? Maybe because the Congolese government doesn't take 1/5 of the US aid despite not being a third world country. Maybe because we didn't give Syria $26 billion to continue dropping bombs on civilians because the Syrian lobby bought our American politicians with $100 million and it brags about it every single day on their Twitter account. Maybe because our politicians are not kissing up to the government of Yemen.
America needs Israel.
Humiliating themselves and the country they represent and the people voted for them. Maybe because we didn't invite the Nigerian Prime Minister to speak to Congress while he's wanted by the ICC. Maybe because America didn't use more than 60% of its vetoes in the Security Council to protect the government of Saudi Arabia. Maybe because we don't have American senators running to the capital of the UAE, appeasing to their leadership, telling them, don't worry, we will never stop flooding you with arms. Maybe because our congressmen didn't threaten the ICC to protect Egypt. Maybe because police didn't attack hundreds of college students, brutalizing them, vilifying them, even ending their careers because they wanted their universities to divest from the Somalian regime. Maybe because we don't have 37 states with laws penalizing people who join BDS to boycott China. Maybe because we don't have comedians supporting Russians' killing of children and ending up on the cover of
Variety magazine.
Maybe because we don't have blacklists in Silicon Valley targeting people objecting to the Afghani police and ending their careers. Maybe because we don't have TV anchors working around the clock to cover up for the Iranian regime atrocities or have our politicians and celebrities sign their bombs. Maybe because we don't have an American comedian traveling to play a fantasy game killing civilians. Maybe because we don't have non-profit organizations like Friends of the IDF raising hundreds of millions of dollars from celebrities to send tax-exempt donations to veterans of the Iraqi army while American veterans continue to suffer. Maybe because we don't have the government of Rwanda sucking our tax dollars, and because of that, many of their citizens in Rwanda have free healthcare, college educations, housing, and even unemployment benefits. All that because of our tax money. And all that happens through bipartisan agreements every year, while here in America, the two major parties will never agree on any solutions for homelessness, healthcare, student debt, or jobs, or anything that benefits the American public. Maybe because we don't have congressmen wearing Algerian military uniforms in Congress. Or maybe because we don't see the two presidential candidates sucking up to a foreign country while competing to become Israel's favorite bitch.
Nobody on this stage that's more pro-Israel than I am.
We're all united by our unyielding commitment to the survival, security, and success of the Jewish state of Israel.
Maybe because we see the media and politicians continue supporting a lying regime that got caught many times. Maybe because we don't have that occasional fake rage every time an Egyptian missile kills UN workers. Or maybe because we don't have our government turning a blind eye while Jordanians celebrate killing American activists, even making pancakes parties, celebrating the death. And then they cover it up with their army fake half-ass apology.
It was a mistake.
But that's okay, because we will use religious scripture to justify our unwavering support to our friends in Africa.
If you bless Israel, I will bless you. If you curse Israel, I will curse you. I mean, do you want Columbia University to be cursed by God?
Maybe because you are an idiot. And you know that bullshit argument is a distraction. Democrats who shit on Republicans for taking money from the NRA take more money from AIPAC. And Republicans who talk about America first are more concerned about Israel's interests first. So yes, that's why we are obsessed with Israel. And you pretending to care about other conflicts or babies or civilians dying anywhere else in the world, it's fake. You know it's fake. So, the next time someone asks you, why don't you talk about this or that? Just ask them, why don't you just shut the fuck up?
Because the only reason why you're focusing on Israel and Gaza is because of Jews. That's what we hear all the time. How many times have we had to combat this? How many times have we heard this? Why don't you care about all these other conflicts that are happening around the world? Why is it just Israel? Why is it just Israel? And really what they're insinuating is it's because you are an anti-Semite and you're just focused on Jews, and that's the only reason why you care about Israel and nothing else. But not All of these other reasons that Bassem Youssef just beautifully and just brilliantly laid out, all of the various reasons that our government is completely bought off, giving a ton of money, signing bombs for Israel, shilling for Israel nonstop. How many times have you had an American politician campaigning and saying, I stand with Saudi Arabia? I stand with Saudi Arabia. How many times do we hear that? How many times do we say, I am the biggest supporter of Saudi Arabia than any other American politician? We never hear that. So there's a reason why we're obsessed with the conflict when it comes to Israel and Gaza, because we are so intertwined and they have complete control over our government. And that is becoming more and more apparent. So that is Bassem Youssef. He recently disappeared from Twitter after 13.5 million followers. So that's a big, giant Twitter account. And suddenly it was gone. And there's been a lot of speculation since it disappeared just yesterday, I think. There's been a lot of speculation as to what happened. Did he get banned on X? Was he too vocal? Was he too prominent of a voice speaking up against Israel? Did he get censored for hate speech? Did he just get censored? What was the reason? And it was really unclear because Bassem ended up posting on his Instagram account. He posted this saying, I'm not sure if or when my Twitter account will be back. I'm here on Instagram and Facebook, and any other account posing as me on Twitter is fake. I don't wish to make any media statements or interviews about that now. Thank you. He then also posted this. He showed this screenshot of Israel's Twitter account, or X account, whatever. I dead name X Twitter because it's still Twitter to me. Israel, they put bye, and they did a screenshot of Bassem Youssef's account saying something went wrong, or 11.5 million followers, I guess is what he had. But then Bassem has now, and so people were speculating. They weren't sure if he was censored or if he voluntarily removed his account. Turns out he voluntarily removed his account. So he put this up today. This is fairly recent, saying, no, my X account wasn't taken down by X, and I don't wish to falsely victimize myself using this. When safety issues concerning my loved ones are alleviated, I might consider coming back. I wish to deal with this away from media. I will still be posting my content on TikTok, Insta, and Facebook. So it's kind of strange. Why would you still post? If there was some sort of issue where people were coming after your family, why would you still post on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, but you're not going to be posting on X? So it's a little hard to understand exactly what the reasoning would be. It seems like you would stop posting altogether if there was some sort of an issue there. But perhaps because X is more, people are angrier on X than they are on these other platforms. There's maybe more interaction. Maybe people are able to be more anonymous on X versus on these other platforms where, if you have an Instagram account, you've probably posted a few pictures. If you have a Facebook account, you have friends and family. It's a bit more connected. Those other platforms are more connected. So maybe it's because X has more anonymity and people can be meaner. Maybe, it's hard to say, but it's unfortunate that he took his X account down. Big voice on behalf of the Palestinians. Really, he's an Egyptian, and the guy is super interesting. So he's a comedian. He's known as the Jon Stewart of the Arab world. He's from Egypt, but he's actually a heart surgeon. He was a heart surgeon and did heart surgeries and even heart and lung transplants for years before he decided to switch to comedy, randomly switch to comedy. And he's a big name in the Arab world and has grown a massive following. And then, of course, he's become a much bigger name in the non-Arab world since he's been talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. He's made a lot of, there's been a lot of waves made by Bassem, I would say, very, very controversial when he went on the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet-David and his crew. He played some of the clips in that video that he made. But really, really smart guy, very clearly, very intelligent. And, I thought that video was beautifully done. I can't count how many times I've had people say, why did you care about these other conflicts? Why is it just this one? And it seems to be, they know the answer. They know it's because the United States is funding this one. They know that it's because our politicians talk ad nauseum about Israel. They're shilling for Israel. They go visit the Wailing Wall. They take trips. They're bought off by AIPAC. We're not seeing that for any other country in the world, that level of influence in the world on the United States government. So obviously, we're going to be more attuned to what the hell Israel's doing with our money and our support, and our government officials acting like half the time like they're actually just representatives of a foreign Middle Eastern country rather than being America first, which is all we ask. It's a simple ask for American citizens. We're just asking, care about this country, stop caring about it, let them deal with themselves. At minimum, let them deal with themselves. We would like you to stop funding a genocide, though. We don't want that on our name. That would be nice, but that is obviously the reason. And Bassem Youssef clearly lays it out. So for anybody who's wondering, share that. Even then, though, I did share it with someone who's been one of the largest voices of, why do you care? Why don't you care about Yemen? Or why don't you, which we do care about Yemen because the United States also helps fund that to a degree. But all of these other, why don't you care about what's going on in Africa or in Asia, all these other places? And I shared it with him and he still came back with, no, it still doesn't explain. I mean, there's just no getting through to some people. They just want to stick with their narrative and their thinking, and they just want to think that everybody's just an anti-Semite, and that's the reason for all of this. So, I don't know. But I think the seed is planted. They can't ignore what they've seen or heard, and eventually it's going to eat away at them, and logic will set in. I'm sure of it, at least I hope. That's all we can do. Hey guys, this was just a clip of a longer show. Catch the full show by going to KimIversonShow.com. It is free. It airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You could go back now and watch this full interview. I highly recommend it. Again, go to KimIversonShow.com. Thank you so much for watching.